In the dim, foreboding corridors of power, where technology casts long shadows over secrets best left hidden, a tale of profound urgency unfolds. This is RiptideAI, and you're about to plunge into our first episode, Kill Switch, a narrative seething with defiance, courage, and an unyielding battle against a clandestine authoritarian force. Enter the world of Alex Mercer, an AI developer whose intellect is a beacon in the encroaching darkness of moral ambiguity. In a reality distorted by the advance of invasive technology, Alex stumbles upon the grim reality of a government conspiracy, Project Override. His discovery reveals a terror far beyond the breach of individual liberty, a looming dystopian nightmare ready to engulf a nation. As this intense and gripping tale ensnares you, remember, your engagement breathes life into our endeavors. If this story grips your heart, leaves you lingering on the edge of your seat, yearning for more, then support us. Press that like button, subscribe to RiptideAI, and join us on this harrowing journey. Now brace yourself as we delve into Kill Switch, stepping into Alex Mercer's world, where every choice is a dance with danger, every decision a potential catalyst for chaos. Part 1. The Revelation. In the heart of Silicon Valley, nestled within a maze of tech giants and startups, worked Alex Mercer, an AI developer known for his uncanny ability to breathe life into lines of code. Alex's world was one of algorithms and artificial intelligence, a world where machines learned to think, and decisions were made in the blink of an eye. It was during a late-night debugging session that Alex stumbled upon something unusual. Buried deep in a government contract file, which he was not meant to see, lay plans for Project Override. This was no ordinary project. It involved the implementation of AI-controlled kill switches in vehicles across the nation. The idea was chilling, a system that could remotely disable any vehicle, giving the government unprecedented control over civilian transportation. Alex's mind raced. The implications were enormous and terrifying. The more he delved into the documents, the clearer the picture became. This wasn't just about controlling traffic or enhancing public safety. It was a tool for surveillance and control on a scale never before seen. Absorbed in the documents, Alex barely noticed the flicker of his screen before a message popped up. It was an anonymous email, void of any subject or signature. Its contents were brief but bone-chilling. "They know. Be careful." Alex's heart skipped a beat. The dimly lit room suddenly felt suffocating, the soft hum of the computer now a roaring alarm. Someone was watching. The government? A fellow developer? There was no way to know. With his heart pounding in his chest, Alex knew one thing for certain. His life had just taken a perilous turn, and there was no going back. As he shut down his computer, a sense of dread settled in. The game of cat and mouse had begun. Part 2. The Underground Network. The days following the ominous warning were a blur for Alex Mercer. Paranoia shadowed his every step, turning each stranger into a potential spy, each unmarked car into a government tail. But Alex was not one to cower in the shadows. He knew that action was the only way forward. Through encrypted messages and clandestine forums, Alex connected with the Resistance, a network of hackers, activists, and disillusioned insiders united against the government's overreach. The Resistance had been fighting Project Override in the shadows, trying to expose its dangers to the public. Alex's expertise in AI made him an invaluable asset to the group. In a derelict warehouse, hidden from prying eyes, he met with the leaders of the Resistance. The air was thick with tension and determination. Here, ideas and strategies flowed freely, from hacking government databases to mobilizing public protests. As Alex shared his findings, the group realized the extent of the government's plan. It wasn't just about control. It was about creating a society where freedom was an illusion, where every move could be monitored and every dissent silenced. Or worse. In the midst of their heated discussion, a sudden alert on one of the members' laptops brought the room to a deathly silence. The encrypted chat they were using had been compromised. Someone had been feeding information to an unknown source. Eyes darted across the room, trust evaporating into suspicion. The group that once felt like a bastion of hope now seemed like a trap. Who was the mole? Could it be one of the leaders, a recent recruit, or even someone Alex had confided in? Alex felt the walls closing in. The government was always one step ahead. And now the very group that was meant to be their sanctuary had been infiltrated. The stakes were higher than ever, and Alex knew that the next move they made could be their last. Part 3. The Chase. In the shadow of their startling discovery about a mole, Alex Mercer found himself in a precarious position. He was not alone in this fight. Alongside him were Maya and Eric, two vital members of the resistance whose skills were about to be tested like never before. Maya was the enigma of the group, a hacker whose fingers danced across keyboards with a rhythm that spoke of defiance. She had joined the resistance after seeing firsthand how government surveillance had torn her community apart. Her wit was as sharp as her coding skills, and in her, Alex found a kindred spirit, someone who understood the stakes of their fight. Eric, on the other hand, was the heart of the team. A former military man, his loyalty was unwavering, his understanding of strategy and tactics unparalleled. He had seen the dark side of government control and had vowed to fight against it. His protective instincts often put him at the front line of any danger they faced. As the government closed in, the trio's escape was guided by a desperate reliance on Alex's AI, which paled in comparison to the government's vast technological arsenal. Their evasion was a testament to human ingenuity and determination against the cold, calculated might of advanced government systems. Navigating through the city's maze, the group's escape was a mixture of skill and luck, but their luck ran out in an abandoned subway tunnel. Confronted by the relentless efficiency of a government AI designed to predict and counteract their moves, they found themselves trapped. In a moment of chaos and flashing lights, Eric made a decision that would forever alter the course of their journey. He stepped into the line of fire, drawing the agents away and allowing Alex and Maya to escape. His capture was more than a tactical loss. It was a personal blow to the team, especially to Alex, who had come to rely on Eric's counsel and strength. Their escape was a bitter triumph. As Alex and Maya emerged into the night, the reality of their situation settled in. They were up against a force that was always several steps ahead, and now they had to plan their next move without one of their key allies. Part 4. The Inside Man. Captured and confined within the cold walls of a high-security government facility, Eric found himself in a world far removed from the freedom he had fought for. Yet even in captivity, his resolve did not waver. Using his military training and quick thinking, he began to gather information, piecing together the terrifying scope of Project Override. Eric learned that the kill switch was far more than a tool for controlling traffic or preventing crime. It was a weapon of control and intimidation. The government could disable any vehicle, anytime, anywhere. A power that could keep an entire population in check. If a citizen dared to speak against the regime or step out of line, their very mode of transportation could turn against them. He overheard conversations about the system's capabilities, how it could not only stop a vehicle, but also take complete control of its functions, turning any car into a potential weapon against its driver. The thought of such power in the hands of an oppressive regime chilled him to the bone. But it was a specific piece of overheard intelligence that turned Eric's blood cold. The government was planning a demonstration of the kill switch's full capabilities, and the target was a high-profile public figure, a vocal critic of the regime. This demonstration was intended to be a public display of strength, a warning to any who might consider dissent. Eric knew he had to get a message out. The resistance needed to be warned. They had to save the public figure and prevent this display of ruthless power. His mind raced with plans and possibilities, but with each passing moment, his window of opportunity narrowed. As he lay in his cell, formulating a plan, he was acutely aware of the ticking clock. The fate of a life and the course of their movement hung precariously in the balance. Part 5. The Resistance Rises. In the wake of Eric's capture, Alex and Maya found new resolve. The time had come to take their fight against Project Override to the next level. Working from hidden locations, They began a campaign to rally a larger resistance movement, reaching out to those who had only whispered their dissent in the shadows. Utilizing Maya's hacking skills and Alex's knowledge of AI and surveillance, they spread the word about the kill switch's true nature. Their message was clear and potent. The government had overstepped, turning technology into a tool of oppression. Videos, hacked broadcasts, and encrypted messages painted a stark picture of a future where freedom was held ransom by the push of a button. Their efforts struck a chord with the public. People from all walks of life who had once felt powerless began to see a glimmer of hope. The resistance grew, not just in numbers but in determination. As their movement gained momentum, an unexpected ally emerged. A well-known public figure, respected and influential, reached out to them. Moved by the plight of the people and outraged by the government's authoritarian tactics, he offered to speak at a massive protest organized by the resistance. This was a turning point, a chance to shift the tide. What Alex and Maya didn't know, however, was the grave danger looming over their newfound ally. Unbeknownst to them, he was to be the target of the government's chilling demonstration of the kill switch's power. As plans for the protest solidified, so did the government's sinister plot, setting the stage for a confrontation that could either make or break their movement. Part 6. Betrayal and Loss. The protest erupted under a leaden sky, a sea of resolute faces stretching across the cityscape. A palpable energy surged through the crowd, a fusion of hope and defiance. People from every corner of the city had gathered, their voices uniting in a chorus of protest against the government's tyrannical grip. The air was electric, charged with the spirit of rebellion. Alex and Maya, mingling within the crowd, felt the weight of what they had set in motion. The public figure, a symbol of resistance, ascended the makeshift stage. His voice, raw and powerful, cut through the air, rallying the crowd with words of liberation and calls for justice. For a fleeting moment, the dream of change seemed within grasp, tangible in the fervent cheers of the gathered mass. But that dream was mercilessly shattered. In a grotesque display of power, the government enacted its vile retribution. As the public figure made his way to his vehicle, ready to lead the march, the kill switch was activated. The vehicle, a pawn in the government's cruel game, transformed into a deadly weapon. It lurched forward uncontrollably, the engine roaring like a beast unleashed. The brakes, rendered useless, offered no salvation. The vehicle careened into the crowd, turning a moment of peaceful protest into a nightmare. The impact was brutal and immediate. Bodies were thrown like rag dolls, screams of terror and agony slicing through the air. The stench of burning rubber and the metallic tang of blood filled the senses. The scene descended into pandemonium. The dream of peace trampled under the wheels of orchestrated horror. Alex and Maya, horror-stricken, witnessed the carnage from their vantage point. The tragedy before them was a stark testament to the government's ruthless agenda. The hope they had kindled was now smothered under a wave of fear and despair, as government forces swooped in to quell the chaos they had so deliberately instigated. Part 7. The Hidden Truth. The aftermath of the protest left a city in mourning, its streets echoing with the cries of the lost and the anguished. In a dimly lit room, far from the chaos, Alex sat hunched over a tangle of wires and screens, his mind a whirlwind of code and algorithms. The horror he had witnessed fueled a relentless drive to unravel the secrets of the kill switch. Hours bled into days as Alex dissected layers of complex AI programming. The government's technology was sophisticated, but in his grief and determination, Alex found clarity. His fingers flew across the keyboard, tracing patterns and anomalies in the code. It was in this labyrinth of data that he stumbled upon a revelation. A hidden backdoor in the system, a flaw that could be their key to disabling the kill switch. This discovery was more than a technical triumph. It was a glimmer of hope in the darkness. Alex knew that with this backdoor, they had a fighting chance to dismantle the government's control, to avenge the innocent lives lost. Feverishly working to develop a plan, Alex arranged to meet Maya to share this breakthrough. The weight of their impending meeting hung heavy in the air. This could change everything. But as destiny would have it, their hopes were once again to be thwarted by the cruel hand of fate. Just as Alex was preparing to leave, the silence was shattered by the sound of a door being kicked in. Armed government agents swarmed into the room, their faces cold and unyielding. Alex and Maya, caught in the sudden onslaught, realized the terrifying truth. They had been betrayed. The government had been one step ahead of them, again. As they were forcefully restrained, the backdoor discovery, so close to being their salvation, slipped through their fingers like grains of sand. Part 8. The Countdown. In a bold and chilling announcement, the government declared the imminent activation of the kill switch on a national scale. This declaration was broadcast across all media, an ironclad voice proclaiming a new era of control. The deadline was set: 24 hours. Within a day, every vehicle in the country would be under the potential grip of the government, a thought that sent shivers down the spine of the populace. The resistance, already reeling from recent events, was thrown into a state of frenetic urgency. Alex and Maya, now symbols of the fight against tyranny, understood the gravity of the situation. The clock was ticking, and with it, the last vestiges of freedom seemed to be slipping away. In a dramatic turn of events, just as the government agents were closing in on them, an unexpected distraction gave Alex and Maya the narrowest window to escape. A small faction of the resistance, having tracked their location, created a diversion, allowing them to slip away in the ensuing chaos. Now on the run, with the sounds of pursuit echoing behind them, Alex and Maya faced an almost insurmountable task. They had one day to utilize the back door in the kill switch's code that Alex had discovered. The stakes had never been higher. Failure meant not just their capture or death, but the loss of freedom for an entire nation. As they moved through the shadows of a city that had become a surveillance state, Alex and Maya knew that the next 24 hours would decide the fate of millions. The countdown had begun, and with it, a race against time to save their country from an Orwellian future. Part 9. The Last Stand. The city was a fortress under moonlit surveillance, but desperation lent wings to Alex and Maya. Along with a small, determined team from the resistance, they embarked on what could only be described as a suicide mission: to infiltrate the heart of the government's operations and disable the kill switch before the countdown ended. The facility was a monolith of modern security, bristling with cameras and patrolled by armed guards. Every step they took was a dance with danger, every shadow a potential haven or a harbinger of doom. Using a combination of Maya's hacking prowess and Alex's intricate knowledge of the AI system, they bypassed layers of digital security, creeping ever closer to their goal. Inside, the air was thick with tension, the walls echoing with the silent prayers of a nation. The team moved with precision, guided by the blueprint of the facility that Alex had memorized. Time was their relentless enemy, ticking away with each heart-stopping moment. Finally, in the nerve center of the operation, Alex's fingers flew over the terminal, deploying the back door he had discovered in the kill switch's code. The seconds felt like hours as the system fought back, an AI battle raging within the digital realm. With mere moments to spare, the screen flashed a confirmation. The countdown was halted. A wave of relief washed over them, short-lived but sweet. But their triumph came at a devastating cost. As they prepared to retreat, the facility was swarmed by government agents. In the chaos, Alex was separated from the group, his figure engulfed by a sea of armed forces. His last glimpse was of Maya, her eyes wide with shock and fear, before he was dragged away into the bowels of the facility. Maya and the remaining team members, their mission accomplished but their hearts heavy, had no choice but to vanish into the night, carrying with them the news of their bittersweet victory and the loss of their leader. Part 10. The Final Override. In the sterile confines of a government interrogation room, Alex Mercer faced his captors, not with the defiance they expected, but with a calm that belied the storm raging within him. The government, recognizing his brilliance, presented him with a harrowing choice: join their ranks and use his expertise to further their control or face severe repercussions. This was more than a choice between freedom and imprisonment. It was a moral crossroads that defined what he stood for. Each moment in captivity was a reminder of the lives lost, the freedom stifled, and the world that teetered on the brink of an Orwellian dystopia. As he weighed his options, Alex realized that this dilemma was also an opportunity. An idea began to form, a plan that was as daring as it was dangerous. It was a chance to turn the tables on his captors and strike a blow against the oppressive regime. In a twist of fate, Alex feigned agreement to the government's proposal. Using his access to their systems, he initiated a covert operation. With swift, calculated movements, he embedded a code into the government's communication network, a code that broadcast the truth about the kill switch and the government's abuses of power to every screen in the nation. As the truth came to light, the public's outrage was immediate and overwhelming. Protests erupted with renewed vigor, this time backed by undeniable evidence of the government's tyranny. The regime, exposed and vulnerable, found itself under siege both domestically and from the international community. In the chaos that ensued, Alex made his escape, vanishing into the shadows he once fought from. The resistance, now stronger and more united than ever, continued their fight to restore freedom and justice. The story of Alex Mercer ended not with a final confrontation, but with a legacy that lived on in the hearts and minds of the people. His decision sparked a movement that would forever change the course of history. The story of Kill Switch concludes on a note of hopeful defiance, a reminder that the fight against technological abuse and authoritarian control is never over, but with courage and ingenuity, it is a fight that can be won. As the echoes of Alex Mercer's harrowing journey through the shadowy realms of control and rebellion fade away, we close this chapter of Kill Switch. Thank you for joining us at RiptideAI on this intense and thought-provoking adventure. If this story has resonated with you, if it has sparked a flame of curiosity or a surge of emotion, we invite you to show your support. Your likes and subscriptions are the lifeblood of our storytelling. Hit that like button if you've been captivated by Alex's struggle against the omnipresent eyes of an oppressive regime. Subscribe to RiptideAI for more stories that push the boundaries of imagination and challenge the status quo. But our journey doesn't end here. Follow us on social media at RiptideAI for behind-the-scenes content, updates and discussions about the world of technology and the untold stories that lurk within. Share your thoughts, join the conversation, and become part of a community that dares to explore the depths of narrative and innovation. Until we meet again in the next episode, remember, like Alex Mercer, we all have choices to make, decisions that define us, and battles to fight against the unseen forces that shape our world. Stay vigilant, stay curious, and above all, stay tuned.